Hey, I'm Coach Wilkerson, and this is Coach Childs, and if we can go get the D-line group up here, where the real men play. If you guys know Jeff, that's Jeff right there. Like, that's a Jeff thing to do right there. All right, first of all, I just want to start by saying that I really appreciate being here. This is my first year over at Glenn. I want to say thank you to Coach Shanefield for bringing me over here, because it's been a heck of a season, and it's been an easy transition. That's one of the things that you kind of worry about when you switch places as a coach, is when you go somewhere new, how are the kids going to respond to you? So it being my first year here, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the underclassmen, because I feel like it's only fitting that Coach Childs introduces seniors. So I want to go ahead and start off with Daren Childs. Come on up, Daren. So Derek is a junior, and Derek was able to start a few games for us this year, but he saw significant playing time with our defensive line rotation. Both of his, he played defensive end for us, and he was also a heck of a punter for us this year, and did a great job with that. It was fun to watch Derek improve throughout the season, just from game to game, from week to week. He got better and better, and to the point that he became really consistent for us, and was also just, I use the term reliable, because we knew what we were going to get when Derek was on the field. If there was ever a time, the fun thing about dealing with Derek, because I was on the sideline and dealt with the defensive line, Coach Childs was in the box, was that when he came off the field, if he did something wrong, he knew exactly what it was that he did wrong. He'd tell me, and then he'd go back out there and fix it. We knew that he wasn't going to make that same mistake again. Derek was also academic all-district this year, and plays baseball in the spring, so we're looking forward to seeing what another offseason will do for him, and all the good things he's going to do in baseball this season. And want to thank him for all the stuff he did for us this season. Thanks, Derek. So next up, we get Kallon Guyton up here. So Kallon is a junior as well, and he started the entire season for us this year, which is no easy feat to do when you play a position like defensive line. But he was also good enough to be a second-team all-district selection for us this year. He's arguably, and other people might have something to say about this too, but he's arguably our most athletic defensive lineman. But the thing about him is that he's also a technician. He's a guy that was so fun to watch in practice this year, because he didn't rely just on being the athlete that he was. He was always working to get better, always working to perfect and to hone his craft. And so that rare combination of being that hard of a worker and being as athletic as he is, he made plays that some people can't do. In addition to that, Kallon's also a state-ranked wrestler. And it's kind of fun. I've heard stories about Kallon, and it just fits so well, because I've heard that he just kind of toys with his opponents at times. And I know at times I just kind of felt bad for the offensive tackles that he had to play against, but I know he didn't, because he's a heck of a competitor. So I can't wait to see how far he goes the rest of this season. I know he's going to do just phenomenal things as a senior. So thank you, Kallon. All right, Skylar Lee. So Skylar's also a junior, and he saw significant playing time in our defensive line rotation this year as well, and he contributed heavily to our success as a position group and as a defensive unit. His role this year for us was a heck of a good role to have. He was a change-up guy for us, because we had guys like Manny and guys like Jeff who would go in there that were exceptionally quick and would just play games with centers. And once they wore him down, we would take Skylar and put him in there, and he was like a battering ram. So it was fun to watch Skylar go in there and just kind of take the heart of the guy in front of him. You could see the guys, the body language just changed when they saw Jeff go off the field or Manny go off the field, and here comes Skylar in there to just beat the heck out of him. And he did such a great job for us doing that. We're fortunate to have him in there as a big, strong force to come in any situation, but also during key downs that we had to have him. So he's going to be a dominant force next year. I can't wait to see with another offseason under his belt how scary of a force he's going to be next year when he comes back. So thank you, Skylar. And Bryce Lesar. So Bryce is actually a sophomore, and we pulled him up for depth this year, but he also got to see the field and kind of get a feel for what varsity football was all about. I just remember before we pulled him up, Coach Childs is the one that kind of went with our JV football team this year, and we would always kind of report back to each other on how it went for that week as I was with the freshmen. And he's one of those names that just absolutely came up every week. He was like, you wouldn't believe it, man. He said they just could not block Bryce. And I could believe it because I see how he is. I mean, he's another one of those guys that's just such a technician. He's quick. He's so good at what he does. He seems to always kind of have a feel for what the offense is doing and just does his job tremendously well. And that's why we had to go ahead and pull him up at the end of the season. So glad that he got a chance to get on the field and see what varsity football was about, because I know that experience in itself is going to prove very valuable next year. We expect him to really be a force for us on the defensive line next year, and excited to see what he's going to do. I know he wrestles in the spring, so he's currently wrestling, and I just know that with that, he's bound to be a heck of a wrestler, because I see the kind of things that he does at the football field, and I know he's going to take that with him on the mat. So as far as next year goes, we can't wait to see what he's got in store for us, to see how he develops and all the things that he's going to accomplish. So thank you, Bryce. Coach Childs is going to go ahead and come on up, and he's going to introduce our seniors.
All right, I'm going to start with Gabe Crawford. I've been really fortunate to be here from the beginning and be around these kids from day one, whenever they joined our program. And Gabe is one of those kids that has never, ever hesitated with anything we've ever asked him. I mean, he's an unbelievable kid. He does an outstanding job in the classroom. And I think Gabe has the best personality on the team. I mean, so it was, it hurt me this year when Gabe got hurt. It hurt my heart because it meant a lot to him to be out there. And so, he's as tough a kid as there is, and never missed a practice. I mean, did an outstanding job. Was there? He found a role, and once he got where he was allowed to, he was like, Coach, I want to do that. I may not play, but I still want to get that. I want to put that uniform on, and it meant that much to him. And Gabe, I just hope some of the young kids look at you and see what it's supposed to mean to them. Okay. So I appreciate everything you've done for our program. Gabe Crawford. Now, this next guy is a guy that he liked to give me a hard time pretty much every day. He was academic all-district. He played defensive end and defensive tackle for us. Also, probably the best politician on the football team. No, but you could talk about anything and make it make sense. So,
he never made sense.
Hunter came over to us a couple of years ago. Hunter's another one of those guys that he played defensive end, played nose guard, played some defensive tackle, moved around a lot, did whatever we asked him to do. But Hunter truthfully has a great personality. He's another one of those guys that kept things light. When things start getting tough, he kind of knew when to crack a joke. When we needed to lighten up, and Hunter did a great job for us. Really proud. We're going to miss him. Most of all, miss his personality and miss the way that he kept things moving in film rooms and out on the practice field. Hunter Lobato. Next guy I want to talk about, he had academic all-district honors. Once again, he was recognized by the Texas High School Coaches Association with an academic all-state award, and he was an honorable mention all-district defensive lineman. This young man had to fight through some injuries. Had a couple of things where he had to overcome, had to get back in the weight room, had to rehab. And early in the year, struggled a little bit. He came in and he sat down with Coach and I, and he goes, "What do I have to do? What do I have to do?" And I tell you what, we had a nice talk with Manny that day, and I'm gonna tell you right now, he did every single thing that Coach Wilkerson and I sat down and talked to him about. Can't say enough about Manny. I think he was by far our most improved defensive lineman this year. Did an outstanding job, and he was absolutely determined to make a contribution in every single ball game. He was going to do something to help our football team be successful, and he's the kind of guy. Manny has truthfully turned out to be the kind of guy that I would want on every football team I ever coach. Manuel De Los Santos. Okay, down to our last two seniors. This guy, when I met him when he was a sophomore, I wasn't sure. He was, this guy, I wasn't sure. But I'm going to tell you right now, this guy truthfully turned out to be one of our very best football players. And I like to give him a hard time, and and he gives it right back to me, and love his personality. He is one of those guys that he's so intelligent that when he did learn, he could put it into play. And it was fun watching him develop as a senior and going out and playing, and he would coming off laughing on the sideline. Coach, I got that so confused, he didn't know what he'd do. And Jeff ended up being a first-team all-district defensive lineman, which to me is a great honor. Those guys, all that all-district stuff, guys, those are all voted on by the other coaches. That's a tremendous honor for him, and we're certainly going to miss him up front next year, and that's Jeff Francis-Diaku. And last but certainly not least, Matthew Hester. Matthew is academic all-district. As mentioned before, he was also academic all-state, honorable mention. Matthew was also first-team all-district defensive lineman. Matthew was our leader on the field, period, up front. Matthew was our guy. When we needed something done and we needed to get something communicated on the field up front, we could tell Matthew, and he made sure that it got implemented the way it was supposed to be implemented up front. Matthew is another one of those guys. I think he's destined to be involved in football somewhere down the road in his future, because he eats it, breathes it, lives it, loves it the way it's supposed to, the way football players are supposed to. Matthew's first year, I was coaching offense, and we said, "Hey Matthew, we need a tight end," and he went, "Huh? What?" But you know what? But he stepped in. He did the very best job he could do, and eventually he ended up moving back to the defensive side, and he played linebacker and ended up playing defensive line for us. And I mean, what else can I say? Matthew did it all for us. Thank you, Matthew.